everyone. For those of you that were on before, I'm back. Hello, my name is Sarah Simon. I'm an independent Stampin' Up! Demonstrator, and I'm coming to you from Appleton, Wisconsin. Um, Marcia, you're back. Thanks for coming back. For those of you that are wondering what the heck I'm talking about, hey, Kelly, welcome back. Um, I jumped on here an hour too early. So I didn't have to work today, so I wasn't as rushed. And I guess in the excitement to see all of you, I jumped on at 5:30 instead of 6:30. So I was on here and I thought about continuing. But then with the giveaway and stuff like that, I thought a lot of people might just be coming on at 6:30 and might be waiting for it at 6:30. So I decided to end the Facebook Live and jump back on at 6:30 so that you could see me live instead of having to see the replays. So, oh gosh, let me tell you, ladies, this last weekend, what a whirlwind. So I took Friday off and I decided to clean my basement. I not quite as bad as being on Hoarders, but pretty close. Oh, thanks, Amanda. But anyway, my mom and dad came over. Well, I got a head start before they got there, and we had a keep pile. We had a go to Goodwill or Habitat Restore or wherever, and then we had throwaway stuff. My dad took two trips in his van, completely loaded, all the seats packed, back end packed, to the Habitat Restore and to Goodwill twice, two carfuls. I took two carfuls of garbage to school because I called to see if I could use their dumpster. And I dumped, my back end was full twice going to school. And both of my garbage cans, my recycle and my other garbage cans. So we made a big dent in it. It's not completely done, but we made a big dent. Then Saturday, my mom and I sort of catered for her friend, her granddaughter's wedding reception. So between mass and the actual dinner, we put together a charcuterie tray and we just kind of did all of that and did some decorating and things for that. So anyhow, it's been a whirlwind. So today I had off and I still had things to do in my basement. So I went down there for about an hour. I had 3 appointments that I had at work that I had to do, but I still said I was off because that way in between I could come home and I didn't have to feel guilty about it. So anyhow, I had some vacation that I had to use. Tomorrow I start training the new girls. So then it's going to be all hands on deck until school starts. So tonight is an exciting night because tonight we are going to pick our creative challenge. We also have some prizes to give away. And so it should be an exciting night. And in that hour from 5:30 until 6:30, I did take one of my swap cards and quickly cut it apart and quickly typed up the directions, and I have it ready for you. So we will do 3 cards tonight if you're in the mood for it. If not, we can save the third one for next week. I do have a Halloween card. Somebody had requested that. Amanda, you requested a waterfall card. I will do that next week. That's a great idea. I don't think I've done one of those before. So I think I will do that next week. That was an awesome idea. We're going to do a technique card tonight. So I am in a swap with my team members from Kelly Atchison's team, and we have to do a different technique. So I chose whitewashing. So I'm going to show, I'm going to show you what whitewashing is and give you an example of that. I don't think this is going to be my card yet. I'm working on that, not tomorrow. I have a meeting tomorrow, but when I get home from the meeting at like 8 o'clock, I'm going to start working on that and I have to have it finished by Friday. So I can do that. So anyhow, I wanted to start with some happy mail. I received this card. I've got a little bit of a glare coming in from the, with that geranium. Isn't that cute? It's basically just a little bit of DSP, oops, in the opposite, this corner and this corner. And then one of these scalloped contour dies and then stamping right onto that. This is from Ann Hubner. She is my upline, Kelly's upline. So I'm her second downline. And she was congratulating me on being number 9 in sales for her group in the third quarter. So that was kind of nice to be recognized for that. Thank you to all of you that place orders from me to help me to do that. And then we have some prizes to give away. So last week we made our creative challenge. So I did this one that had the little snowflakes on it. And we did the birthday gnome. Okay, warm wishes. And then on the inside is that little pop-up, which is our creative challenge. So for commenting last week and receiving these cards is Tammy Markwart. And I think, Tammy, I saw you pop on here. So, Tammy, I will be getting these out in the mail to you. I see Mary's on here. Hi, Mary. I was just telling them about the beautiful wedding that your granddaughter had that we got a chance to be part of. Anyhow, I will get these in the mail to you, Tammy. For those of you that won last week, I put them out on Friday, I think, when I had off. So you should have gotten them on Saturday or hopefully today. So Tammy will be getting these. And then for sharing, so if you hit that share button and you share to one of your Facebook pages, whether it's a page that you have, your regular page, or you email or send it as a Facebook message to someone, you also get put into a drawing. Make sure that in the comments you write share because sometimes I can't, it says 13 people shared and there's 3 people listed. So I always go through all of those comments to see who shared. So if you share, you get put into a drawing, and receiving a pack of this is Real Red and Garden Green ribbon. This ribbon is so nice to tie bows with. It's also nice to wrap around cards because it's nice and thin and it makes very nice bows. Receiving this for sharing last week is Lisa Neelan. So Lisa, I will get this in the mail to you. And thank you for stopping by my house today and dropping off the cards that I had made for your display. I got home from being at my mom and dad's house and there was something hanging on my door. I'm like, what's on my door? I had loaned my neighbor boy, he sent me a text in a panic yesterday morning that he needed $20. Can I borrow $20 until I get paid? So I had loaned him $20 and I thought, wow, that was fast. He got me that $20 back in a day. But it was a nice surprise from Lisa. So congratulations to those of you that won. And now we have to do our drawing for the Creative Challenge. Oh, ladies, you have to go back. If you have not looked at that post that I had, thanks, Jay. You have to go back and you have to look at the cards that these ladies made. Oh, I was so impressed. So for submitting a card, Sandy Calloway, and if you submitted one in the last hour, I haven't checked. So let me know that in the comments. So Sandy Calloway, Mary Van Domlin, Mary Linsmeyer, Karen Wetstein, Karen Roofing, Karen Karst, Karen is the popular name, Diane Van Grell, Julie Schlevy, Humphrey Aline, Tammy Litsky, Linda, oh, I always say this wrong, Linda Kister. I think that's right. Kester. I got it right. It's like Chester, right? I think. And Amanda Shabo. So I'm going to mix these all up. If you submitted a card recently and I didn't get it in here, please comment now. It does take a little bit. Oh, Lisa, don't worry about it. I did not need those. I had another copy of most of those cards, so it was not a problem. Okay, I don't see anyone else. I'm looking on YouTube and I'm looking on Facebook. Yes, Diane, they were beautiful. Okay, so I've got them all mixed up here pretty good. I'm going to reach in here and pull one out. I got this mug from some of my friends. You make the world a better place. It's kind of fun. Humphrey Aline. So Humphrey, I do not have your address. So I will try to send you a private message. And if you see this, make sure that you send me in my emails or in a private message your address as to which bundle you would like to have me send to you. Congratulations, and thank you all for participating. I have so much fun in that because I know you say that I inspire you, but holy cow, ladies, you definitely inspired me with those cards. Everyone was so unique and you put your own little spin on those, so that's awesome. Hi, Mary, I see you on YouTube. Yes, congratulations to all of the winners. I think it's time for us to start stamping. So I'm gonna flip to my phone. I'm gonna turn my overhead light off, so hopefully I can avoid some shadows. And Halloween, kind of towards the back of our catalog, we have some fall/Halloween things. So I am going to, the only Halloween set that I had ordered up until this point was this Bewitching set. So I'm going to be using this in my card tonight. Now, since then, I ordered this because I was in several swaps and I received a card that is just adorable. And I think for some of my card buffets that this will be really cute because I have many ladies that have grandkids that might find these little images kind of cute. We're also going to be using this black and white design paper. Look at this. So there's stars and stripes, and those are kind of like argyles, I guess. We've got dots, we've got lines, and we have these, oh gosh, why am I drawing a blank here on that? That's the one that I used. And then if we flip it over, it's white with black. All right, so this is the paper that we're going to be using. I'm going to show you a couple of other samples after we finish our card tonight. Because I didn't have a greeting in this Bewitching one, I'm actually using an old greeting. There was a boo in the cottage wreath that I was going to grab and use, but there's like this little boo right here, and I was going to use that, but then I decided I really just wanted Happy Halloween. So I'm going to go ahead and use an old stamp that I have that's long been retired, and we're going to be using that. So my inspiration for my colors came from the washi tape. Look at this glittery washi tape. Karen Roofing, this has your name written all over it. I looked in the catalog and it said that this was Highland Heather, pumpkin pie, and they said this was Old Olive. And I'm looking at this going, Old Olive? I mean, I like Old Olive. It's a nice color and all, but Granny Apple Green or Parakeet Party would be much better, I think, of a color to use. So I decided we were going bright with this card, bright and cheery for Halloween. So our card base is actually, let me get all the pieces here. I'll get this out. Our card base is actually Parakeet Party, and I'll get the dimensions in here. We are going to use this washi tape, so I'm not going to put it too far. So our Parakeet Party, whoops, there's a little sneak peek of what's going to happen here. Our Parakeet Party measures 8.5 by 5.5, and it's scored at 4.25. All right. We have a basic white for the outside and for the inside, and they both measure 4 inches by 5.25. And I also have some scraps in here that we're going to be punching and stamping and punching some things out of there. So I'll set those aside for when we stamp. I have a basic black layer that measures 1 5/8 by 5. It says a fifth. It should be 5.25. Okay, that's 5.25. This measures 2 by 5.25. We're actually going to be coloring this, and we're going to be cutting it to get 2 pieces out of there. And then I have a little piece of pumpkin pie. That's a 1/2 inch wide. I said it ends up being about 2.5 inches. Mine is much longer than that because I wanted to make sure I didn't mess up. And I wanted to make sure that I got my greetings straight on there. So that's why mine's really long. I also have an envelope here that will do some stamping on as well. And I'm going to take both of these out. We're going to take this out, and I'm going to set this aside and the directions aside. I will post all of the directions again in a document after we're finished tonight. So what I wanted to do with these colors in mind, and I should just look here. Oh, thanks, Marcia. Yeah, I love this set. I'm so excited. Yeah, Kay, you won this glitter tape. It's so fun. So anyway, with this in mind, I decided I wanted to color this black and white paper. Black and white is nice, but I think adding these pops of color would be really, really cool. So what I did was I ended up just taking my Stampin' Blend. So this is a dark Highland Heather, and I'm just going to come in here and I'm going to color in each of these. And just going to show you the first couple, and then believe it or not, I have one done because I figured I don't want to waste your time having you watch me color when I know that's something you can easily do yourself. Now you could just take, instead of, I'm going to color the whole darn thing, but you could, if you wanted to, you could just color a couple of them here and there and keep some of them white. I just got going last night and I love, love, love to color. And so I ended up coloring the whole thing because I didn't start this until late yesterday afternoon when I put that post out there and asked for suggestions. And the first suggestion was a Halloween card. And I'm like, yep, that's what we're going to do. Now, the reason that I chose this pattern of paper is because I'm going to show you 3 other cards and they use 3 other pieces of this designer paper. And so I wanted to just showcase something different that they didn't. So that's why I decided to do this. And actually, I did all the purple ones. So I went down and I did, okay, so that one's going to be purple. That one's going to be purple. Skip 2, that one's going to be purple. And I just colored all of them. Then I did all the orange ones. And then I could come in with the parakeet party. And because I didn't have to stay in the line so much, I could use, here, I'm going to be really careful on the bottom. Because if I go into this orange a little bit, you're not really going to be able to tell that. So I was able to use the bigger end because that was my lighter color. And so I did that lighter one last. Okay, so I went through and I colored that whole paper, and this is what you get. Isn't that cool? Doesn't even look like paper. Yeah, chevron. Thanks, Mary. I don't know why I was having a blank, drew a blank on that. This is chevron. But doesn't it look like completely different? Like, where did she get that designer series paper? Because it doesn't look like the rest of the paper from that set. So I thought that was kind of fun to do. I'm going to keep my Stampin' Blends close. I am going to bring some stamps out here. Put my washi tape away for a little bit. Set this off with my other layers. So the outside of my card, I'm going to stamp these little witches boots and fun socks. And we're, of course, going to color them the same colors that we just colored our paper because we need everything to matchy-matchy, right? So I'm going to stand up while I do this. I'm going to do this in the lower right-hand corner. Make sure I give that a good press, but not too much. I don't want any little edges on the side. Oh, shoot. That's what I didn't want. I could feel myself pressing down over there right at the end. I kind of rocked it a little bit right at the end. You want to go straight down and you want to come straight up. Just kind of letting the ink soak into the paper a little bit. All right, there we go. That's much better. Aren't they cute? All right, let's get a scrap. And on our scrap, we're going to ink up. And when I have a little bit bigger image, I like to flip the image over and bring the ink to my pad to make sure that I get full coverage of it. And again, I'm going to stamp that and I'm going to hold it down a little bit to make sure that that ink transfers and soaks into the paper. And that's okay that I have that little halo. I'm punching this out. Here's my inside. And I just want to have this little spider coming down. Hopefully I have him straight. If not, it's not the worst thing. Let's try. We'll give it one more try. I'm going to go up a little bit with it. There we go. I just didn't want him hanging from the air. All right, and then we had our orange piece here. And like I said, this is really old. It's even in a wood block yet. We don't have wood blocks anymore. So, you know, this is old. This was a whole bunch of just regular greetings. So just a little happy Halloween. Okay, super, super simple. But you could get like that Best Witches. That would be really, really cute. Or there's one that says Happy Halloweening or something like that. That was really cute as well. I'm trying to think if I have everything stamped. Let's do a little hat in the corner of our envelope. So let's just and you could do one of the other hats too, like one of them with the spider web on or something like that if you wanted to as well. I think that's cute on the outside of the card. All right, let me get the ink out of here and the stamps out of here to make some room. I'm going to bring in my paper trimmer. I'll put that down a little bit. We are just going to cut a 1/2 inch off of here so that I can put this on the inside of my card, and this is going to stay on the outside. Looks like I didn't make that very straight. I think it'll still work. Must not have had it up all the way to the top. All right, we have to do some coloring on all of this. And so again, I'm going to bring those 3 colors that we used before, and I'm just going to color in some of these circles. So we'll color in, let's see, that one should be good. And we'll color in that one, and maybe this little one, and that one over there. I'm also going to color in one of the stripes here. All right. Oh, Denise, first day in your classroom. There have been teachers that have been back. In fact, when I stopped to work with a new one of our middle school teachers this afternoon, I was helping her with some of the technology and stuff that she had questions about. And there was another teacher there, and she needed her password reset for Power School. And I'm like, oh gosh, here we go. Everybody's going to need a password reset in the next couple weeks because they're all starting to come in and want to know who's in their class and all that kind of fun stuff. All right. Yeah, usually it's August 1st, right? August 1st, and it's time to start heading back to school and getting ready for when those kiddos come. Okay, and I forgot while I had all those colors open, I'm going to color in that and that. Just kind of making this fun. So do purple there, and we'll do a little orange as well. Just going to have funky striped socks. Okay, now for coloring this, if I want to color this, what you're going to want to do, you're going to want to stick a piece of cardstock inside of there because otherwise it's going to bleed through. So I stuck a piece of cardstock in there, and now I can do exactly the same thing that I did with that other one that I had, and I can color in these polka dots. If you don't do that, it's going to bleed all the way through to the back, and it kind of looks a little bit funny on the back of your card. So if you ever decide to stamp and then use Stampin' Blends, you could use Stampin' Write markers, and it wouldn't do that. Whoops, I forgot to color that band. Whoops. Didn't stay in the line too well there. And we've got green. We're almost done. See, there's still a lot of coloring left to this, even though I had colored that other piece. You probably would have still been watching me color. That's why I wanted to get that done for you. Let's color this in green. I got to bring my purple back one last time. Just kind of a fun way to give that right on the front of the envelope. Okay, so if I take this out, see how that bled onto there? That would have been on the back of my envelope. So now it's nice and clean. All right, we are ready to put this together. I know I haven't used the washi tape yet. We will, I promise. We'll come back and we'll do that. Okay, so I'm going to use the envelope. We'll set that off to the side for right now. I'm going to take my bone folder and give this a good crease. Burnish it. All right, and then this is going to go on the inside, but before I put that in there, I'm just gonna attach some of that to the bottom. And I thought that it was kind of cool that the chevron is going the opposite direction. It kind of gives it a little bit of, it's just kind of a surprise. You would expect it to go the same way, but by going sideways, it's just kind of a little bit different. Line that up. I'm going to leave just a little bit of white along the bottom. And I think I just slid that a little bit too much. You know, I always say it's nice to have that little bit of wiggle room with the glue, but sometimes that little wiggle room wiggles you right off, so it's not straight. All right, let's go ahead then and attach this to the inside. Oh, August 10th. We start, let's see, our teachers start on August 16th, and the kids start on the 24th of August. So it's coming up fast. Our teacher contracts, they technically don't start until, their other ones from last year run until August 15th, and then their new contracts start on the 16th. So we can't technically do anything as far as in-service and stuff until the 16th. So my new contract for next year will start on the 16th as well. So that's why I had to get all my vacation in, which I have a week and a half left. I have 8 days left, which I'm not going to be able to take. But due to the fact that I'm training somebody new, they're allowing me to carry over 1 week, so 5 days of my vacation. So that was kind of nice of them to do that. I've been working for the school that I'm at for, this is my 26th year, and so that's why I have so much vacation. But I don't get, like other teachers get Christmas to New Year's off and all of that. If I take that off, I have to use my vacation for that. But this last year, because we had somebody out on medical leave, I had to work all of those holidays. And so that's why I have so much left now. All right, we are going to go ahead and glue this down. All I did was add that colorful paper to that strip of black. So there's just a little bit of black coming out on either end. And then I just put it to the left of these little shoes. All right, and now we're going to take this hat, and it has a punch to punch that out. And I may have to trim this corner a little bit. I had to do that when I made my sample last night too, or yesterday afternoon. Okay, so I'm just going to line it up and try to get an even border all the way around. And when I feel like I have it, I'm going to kind of set it in place. It looks good, and then punch it. And that is going to go right there. We are going to raise that up on some dimensionals. So I'm going to get some of my dimensionals here. Oh, I have black ones that I grabbed. I don't think, yeah, the hat's black, so that works. So I'm just going to set that like that. I'm going to take our little banner Pick-a-Punch. I'm actually going to cut a little bit off of here because I went a little bit too far, and I'm going to make a little banner on one end. So I'm going to slide that in there. That looks pretty good. Love this punch. Makes it nice and straight for me. And I'm going to cut that about right there. I don't know if I cut that very straight. I wasn't going to cut it with my paper trimmer. All right, we're going to go right to there. And I'm actually going to just use regular glue and not raise that up. I'm just going to let it sit there because we're going to put we haven't used the washi tape yet. Remember, that's coming yet. I am going to take some of this black and white gingham ribbon and I'm going to color it with my Parakeet Party Stampin' Blend. Oh, how fun is that? I just love, you can make this ribbon black and any color you want. So I kind of liked the Parakeet Party. I hope I cut myself enough here. I think I did. I just want a really, really tiny bow. I'm going to leave a little bit less at the end. I hate when I have to tie a bow on live camera. It's not too bad for me to tie bows, and this ribbon is really, really easy. And I should just use my bow jig or my little bow maker. I have it, but this ribbon is so easy to tie a bow. I really don't feel like I need to grab it out, but I do want it to be kind of a small bow. There we go. And we'll grab ourselves a glue dot. I have to break off some of this paper. We're going to put that right up there. Doesn't that bow add just a little bit of something to that? Now, it's not done yet. So I have this piece of paper, this piece of scrap paper. I used it to kind of put inside my envelope. But what I'm going to do is I'm going to take my washi tape and I'm going to make a couple of strips of purple. Okay, so that should be plenty long enough, probably longer than I need. I'm going to put it right up to it. And what I'm going to do with this is I'm going to punch out some of those stars that were in that punch off to the side so that I have some glimmer stars. So I'm just going to stick this right in there. Kind of catch it. So I have 1, 2, 3 purple ones. Then I'm going to do the same thing with my Old Olive, which I think looks more like Parakeet Party. We decided to change it to Parakeet Party. Stampin' Up! Can call it Old Olive, but we're going to have a little Parakeet Party with it. All right, we're going to again put that in there and get some stars with that. Oops, here's one. Put it on the white. We're not going to use all of these, but it cuts out 3, so I might as well put at least the 3 out there from each color. And we got 1 color to do. If you try to do this, you have to put it on the paper. The hardest thing with this washi tape is finding the little end, especially the first time you use it. Here we go. I've used the green one and the purple one for other things that I've done already. So the orange one, first time I pulled it out was yesterday. And I think there's also black in here too. Is that right? Yeah, there's black. I just didn't want any black stars. I wanted to have all of this fun with the 3 colors that we chose to use. All right, we'll throw that in there. And I've got some orange stars. Right, now I just have to decide where in the world I want to put them. So there's 3 different sizes and there's 3 different colors. I kind of want to use an odd number of stars rather than an even number. I don't know why, I just always use odd numbers. So I'm just going to maybe start with one of these. This is a green one. I'm just putting a little bit of glue down, setting that down. Let's see, let's take a little green one. You don't really need to put a whole lot of glue on here, just a little dab will do ya. Put one up there on the label. That glue oozed out a little bit. There we go. Let's take a purple one. Put that there. Put an orange one up here. A pumpkin pie. Maybe this little purple one. Since that other one's so big, we'll put a little purple one. Oh shoot, that was way too much glue. All right, I just got to wipe some off here. There we go. Kind of put that there. Let's see which ones are not attached yet. Let's do a medium-sized green one. And we'll put that right. You could use glue dots for this too, wherever it falls here. We'll put that there, and then how about just a little orange one yet? I think that'll give me 7 of them, right? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. This is number 7. I've got my odd number that I like to use. Now you could also put one if you wanted to. Oh, should we put one right there? Should we raise that one up a little bit? That would look cute. Let's put that. I didn't do that on my card. I think that's going to be kind of cute. Just thought of it. And I cut a little piece of dimensional off. I'll put that on the back of there. And now we're going to have stars, stripes, and circles. Stars, chevrons, I should say, and circles. And stripes in the hat. Okay, so there is our Halloween card all done up. And we got that little glimmer going on there. You could even put some of those glimmer stars if you wanted to over on the chevron paper. I kind of wanted, when I was doing it last night, I'm like, oh, I feel like I have to fill that up somehow. If my greeting were a little bit bigger, I wouldn't have had to do that maybe, but I kind of liked how the stars looked on there and it kind of made it look kind of cool. So there is our Happy Halloween card. Like I said, that greeting you're not going to find anywhere. It's just a really, really old greeting that I decided to keep because sometimes I like just real simple greetings. Like there's a Happy Valentine's Day, a Happy Easter, there's a shower greeting and stuff like that with that set too. So, and here's our matching envelope that we did. All right, so that is our card number 1 using the witch's hat. And using that black and white paper that we made so it wasn't black and white anymore. I'm just going to kind of get some of my stuff out of the way here. Here are the other cards that I told you that I would share with you. So isn't this one adorable? This is Lori Krause made this one. So she used the circle and the black and gray paper. She used that black washi tape right there. Again, she used the same, and then she has some of the purple washi tape up there. She used that Best Witches, which I'm getting that now. This one I made at Christine Bertram's retreat that she had. It was like a summer escape on my vacation. I went to her house for a day. So we added some of the glimmer paper. She designed this to the designer series paper. I colored it. She added designer paper and then, or washi tape, I'm sorry, and then washi tape for this little band. And then it has a stamp with stars on it. And so we just punched out. We didn't use one of the stamped images of a hat. We just punched it out and added stars to it and put some gold ribbon and some of those punched out stars. And then that one opens like this. It's kind of a fun fold. All right. And then the stars paper using that if you got it, Haunt It. I just thought that was cute. This one uses, again, this is either Granny Apple Green or this is Parakeet Party. I think it's Parakeet Party. Let's look, see if we can compare. Yep. So this is Sandy Carlson, created this one, and she colored in that little witch as well. Best Witches. Right, so that's a couple of different Halloween ones, all using that same paper, that same washi tape, and then two of them use the same stamp set and one the other stamp set. All right, so there are some other examples. All right, let's get set up for our technique. So the technique that I'm going to be using, thanks for those of you that are saying that you love it and sending me hearts and stuff. Love that. Thank you very, very much. I appreciate that. All right, whitewash. We are going to use the Cottage Rose stamp set, and we are going to be using it with a different color than the Designer Series paper. So we said we love the Designer Series paper, right? We love the browns and the Sahara Sands. We did a card with it just a couple weeks ago. I wanted to use the stamp set and use it with some different colors. So my inspiration from this, using the whitewashing technique, actually came from the catalog. So if you look at page 57 is where Cottage Roses, that's that beautiful paper that they have. This card right here, if you see, this is like a gray background, but yet the petals of the flower that they colored in are white. Now you might have thought, well, did they use like a chalk marker or what did they use for that? I'm pretty sure that whitewashing is what they did. So I kind of used that stamp because you have to have a stamp that has a lot of details like that in it. And I'll show you some other examples of things that I did afterwards. But we are going to, and then my other inspiration for the card came from a swap that I had that used the Designer Series paper, and I was trying to alter it. So I'm trying to use what I saw in the catalog, because a lot of people ask, where do you come up with your ideas? I was using what I saw in the catalog, and I was using, this is Carissa Alberts made this one, and she ended up stamping this on Very Vanilla, and she either used watercolor pencils or she used like a blender pen to color this in. So we are going to do something similar, but instead of having a white background, we are actually going to have a gray. We're going to use gray granite as our background, and we're going to make, when we color this in, we're going to color it in white so that we can do the whitewashing technique. Hopefully that will all make sense when we start to put this together. So I'm going to start with a base of thick basic white. So this is just a standard A2 card. So it's 8.5 by 5.5, and I scored it at 4 1/4. So that's going to be my base. I have gray granite, a layer of gray granite that is 4 by 5 1/4. And I'm choosing to use a really dark color in Starry Sky. I love this color. It was between this and the Orchid Oasis, and Starry Skies won out last night when I was doing it. I actually should have done, tonight I should have done the Orchid Oasis just to do something a little bit different, but I went with the Starry Sky. So this measures 3 7/8 by 5 1/8. And then I used some of the coordinating Designer Series paper with the Starry Sky, because this has like the little stripes in, which is kind of a little cross between almost like grayish and white anyway. So I thought that that went really nicely with that gray. So this is 3 7/8 by 2. I also have a scrap of the gray granite that we are going to stamp our tag, and we are also going to stamp our flower and do our technique on that. So the flower that we're going to be using is, like I said, is this big floral image, and I'm going to actually stamp it with Starry Sky. I always want to say Starry Night, but it's Starry Sky. I don't know why you want to say that. All right, so I'm going to go ahead and stamp that image. It's kind of upside down right now, but that's okay. We're going to be cutting it out. Just want to make sure that I get a good, I had some of the little flowers on the top. Let's do this. Like I said before, when the stamp is bigger, let's bring our ink to the stamp to make sure that we get, and let's stand up. I do not like stamping sitting down. Let that ink soak in, and that's a much better image. Okay, I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to stamp our greeting down here ready to, so that I can cut that tag, and I'll show you how I'm going to do that. And on the inside of my card, I just want to put my ink away, so I'm going to stamp everything. We're going to do the best wishes. So I'm just going to see if this is straight. It looks pretty straight. Okay, and so if I line up the bottom, I line that up. Looks pretty good. And let's just put one of these floral images, just part of it, in the bottom. That'll be our inside. Okay, now I can put this ink away, and I can put this flower away. And I'm going to actually get it out of the way so that I don't end up setting something white in it. You know how that goes, right? We've all done it. Best laid plans. All right, let's bring this back in here. And what we're going to do is we're going to do our whitewashing technique on this. So I took a clear block. You can do this one of two ways. So you're going to use craft ink. So this is our Whisper White craft ink. And you can go ahead and press down and get some of the ink in the cover. I like to instead, I like to just take the re-inker of it, because it does come with a re-inker when you get this, because this dries up very easily. So every time I use it, I always have to ink it up again. I'm just going to put some craft ink on that block, and I'm going to be using that. Now, the other thing that I'm going to use, this is pigment ink. So it's water-based. It's not like when we use our it's going to run if we use a lot of water on it. The color is going to run. So I actually ended up putting some alcohol in this spritzer, and alcohol also dries a lot faster. And so I'm just going to take this, and I'm going to get this out of the way so I don't spray it on there. But I'm just going to spritz this with a little bit of alcohol. Some people use a watercolor brush to do it. So you could put this in here and you could squirt water in there and use water. I found that I have more control if I use a blending brush. Now I gotta find my blending brush. I had it sitting here. I might have to go get another one. I had one sitting out to use. It's the one that I was using last night. So it's already got some white in it. And I don't see where. And oh, here it is. It's right in front of me. Oh, goodness. So this is a blending brush to tell if they do dry out over time. So if you wipe it on your hand, you can see mine has a little bit of white from doing this yesterday. But if you can feel that it's a little bit wet, then you know that it's not dried out and that you can use it. So all I did was I went ahead and mixed this color in with that alcohol. And I do have a scrap here somewhere. We'll just use this as a scrap. I did have a scrap. I kind of look at it because I want to make sure that I don't have it too dark. Okay, and that looks pretty good. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to color between the big lines of that flower. I don't want to just go in here and color over the top of it like this. That will not give me the effect that I want. So I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to color inside of these lines. And I might have put a little bit too much alcohol because I'm not getting a whole lot, but you can always add more white. The way you would spread it is just add a little bit more alcohol to your block and then bring that in there. Let's take a little bit more of this white. There we go. That's a little bit better. Okay, so I'm coloring inside of the line. And this actually, because we're doing it with alcohol, it dries pretty darn fast. So I want to stay in between those two lines there so that you can still see the outline. I don't want the white to go over the outline of the flower. So floral images are great images. I'm going to show you afterwards some sunflowers that I did. I also used the pumpkin from the fall set that we used last week. I also used that. I'm getting a little bit dark here. It will dry lighter, so there we go. So you do want to brush just a little bit off. I also have some paper towel here so that if I have to, I can rub it on the paper towel, but I kind of get it to the point where it's worked off a little bit. And it's okay that you have different shades of white because it adds just a little bit of kind of like your dimension to it so that it's not all exactly the same. So this is a way that you could color something in white. Now, do you remember that, oh gosh, it was a hostess set. It was a floral image. Can't even think what the name of it was. I know that my upline Kelly was on one night and she was showing some cards that she had gotten, and I had seen this on Pinterest. Someone had used that on the Evening Evergreen cardstock and then went over just parts of it with this white and just like highlighted parts of it. It was so stunning. I was like, oh my gosh, how in the world did they do that? And then when I looked online, it was all done by doing this whitewashing technique. So yeah, Calming Camellia. Thanks, Linda. That was the stamp set. It was so beautiful. Okay, now I don't know how much you can see here, but in this next petal, there is like a little bit of a line for one part. I don't want to go over the top of that line that separates those two parts of the petal. I want to get just that little piece. That's why using my blending brush that's a little bit smaller. So I have that little piece that I just did. And now I want to go into the rest of the petal and do that and not go on that blue outline at all. That's what like kind of sets this technique off. Linda, are you the one that made that card? Because it was, honestly, it was one of the prettiest cards that I've ever seen. So if you made that one, that Calming Camellia one, oh goodness, girl, that was beautiful. All right, so I'm gonna go ahead, finish this up. I was gonna just say, and through the magic of TV, this is done. But I thought this is, with it being a new technique for maybe some of you, it might be something that you wanted to watch how I did it all the way till the end. So I'm almost done here. Biggest thing is just getting the right color, right shade of white that you want to use. And like I said, as soon as I'm done here, I'll show you a couple of other samples on some different colors and some other things that you can do with this. But this is something that you could probably sit in front of the TV and kind of have the TV on and mindlessly, you just got to make sure you stay in the lines. But you could kind of mindlessly do that a little bit. So look at that. Isn't that cool how that looks when it's all done? I just loved that look. So I have to decide if this is going to be my swap card to make 22 of them, or if I'm going to do something different. Now, I think I'm going to do this. I did this with my other one, and then I wasn't sure if I liked it, but I am going to color in the petals, and I'm going to show you what I'm going to do with it after. Actually, I think I'm just going to leave them. What I did yesterday, I didn't really care for all that much, so you could leave them if you wanted to without coloring them in, but I think I'm going to color them in. So it's kind of therapeutic just to sit and color sometimes. It's just no brain work, you know, you just don't have to really think that much other than I got to stay in the lines here. But that's about it. This image is really easy to color. Okay, so there is what that image is, and we'll cut that out in just a little bit with the dies. I wanted to show you, here is the floral image that went with that pumpkin that I did, and I stamped this on the Starry Sky, and I stamped it in Night of Navy ink, and then I colored over the flowers. Here is the Orchid Oasis, and I stamped it with Orchid Oasis, and this is a floral image that comes from, oh gosh, I don't remember what the name of it is, but notice how there's a little bit of the purple that's in between there because you really have to follow the parts that you need to color in. So each of the petals had different parts, so you had to make sure you kept that separate. Here we're going to be, my third card, if we decide to do the third card, is using the Boughs of Holly. I went a little bit too dark here, but this is Evening Evergreen on Evening Evergreen, and I just shaded in some of the white part that was with white to make it stand out a little bit. Here is the sunflower, and that's on Starry Sky. Oh, Quiet Meadows, thanks. I love it when you guys that know the names of all of these things chime in. Yes, that was Quiet Meadows, Linda. This is the sunflower one, and again, this is Starry Sky with Night of Navy ink stamped on there. This is Sahara Sand with, I think it was Early Espresso ink that I used, I'm sorry, this is Soft Suede. I think it's Soft Suede, and I might have used Soft Suede ink or I used Early Espresso. And this one I went back afterwards and I used my watercolor pencils and I put a little bit of yellow on. I'll show you another one that I did that with. Here's Crushed Curry with Early Espresso and a little bit of white. Here is Rich Razzleberry with Blackberry Bliss that I started to color, and then then I colored it with the whitewashing. Here is that pumpkin that I did. This is Crumb Cake, and I stamped it in Early Espresso, I think, and then I went back in after I got it all white and I colored up with the watercolor pencils, and then I went over with a blender pen to kind of blend those a little bit. That's also what I did with this one. So this is Sahara Sand, and I stamped it in Crumb Cake, and then I went and did all of the petals in white, and then after I did them in white, I came back with my yellow watercolor pencil, so that looks like this, and I just lightly colored in each one of them just to add a little bit of that color back. So that's what whitewashing looks like. All right, so ours should be all dry here pretty much. So I'm gonna go ahead and bring in my Big Shot, or not Big Shot, good Lord, it hasn't been a Big Shot for a long time. My Stampin' Cut and Emboss machine. And we'll go ahead and open that up. And we'll set our plates in there. And now the label that I'm going to be using for mine, I don't know what Carissa used for hers. I think it was from a die set that I maybe don't have. I couldn't find it. It didn't come with this set. So what I decided to do is, these are the TaylorMade tags. This is longer than I need, but I'm going to go ahead and cut this once, and then I'm going to put it in there and cut the bottom part of it where I need it. and I'll show you how to do that. That's why I didn't want to cut ahead of time, because I wanted to show you how you can make those tailor-made tags. Oh, shoot. Here we go. I got to line this up again. Remember how I said my magnetic plate wasn't coming apart? It just started to this week. Yeah, hopefully they get that fixed because it was working so slick. I think they just need to add more glue, or the type of glue that they put on it has to be a little different. All right, so I'm going to go ahead and run that through. So there is my flower that I needed. And then with this, what I'm going to do is I'm going to line this up. So I'm going to line it up right inside the little groove marks where I need it to be. I'm going to set that down. And then I'm only going to put my plate on the very end here that I need to cut. So I'm going to go ahead and start that in there. Okay, and that was loud, sorry about that. But what it'll do is it'll cut that tag to be just a little bit shorter, so it's the size that I need. All right, I'm done with this. This is really loud, sorry about that. Okay, now it's time to put this all together. All right, so we've got our card base. We are going to put this along the bottom, just like the sample that I had received from Carissa in that swab. This is pretty too. I just really liked the stripes. I thought that it kind of almost looked like it had gray granite in it, just like I said. Okay. Thank you guys for joining me on a Monday. Oh, like I said, this week I have something going on almost every night. Tomorrow night I have a meeting. Wednesday night, my friend Kathy usually does her Facebook Lives, and so I didn't want to do it on then. And then Thursday, I have some friends who are really, really into pickleball. They're all retired, so they play during the day normally, but they were getting together Thursday night, I think it is. It's either Wednesday or Thursday. I can't remember which is what. But they wanted to know if I wanted to play. They're like, you're just going to be a natural at this. Well, I don't know about that, but I'm willing to try. As long as I don't break an ankle or something, that's what I'm afraid of. So this is some of our gray granite. It's called Shimmery Ribbon. I'm just going to cut a piece of that, and we're just going to attach it with some tape, just to kind of hide that seam where the designer paper and the Starry Sky paper meet. Get this back in its holder. All right, and then this is going to go on there. Doesn't that look sharp? I just love these colors together. I do have to say, I wasn't exactly sure what colors they had on that sample that was in the catalog. But I know that they had gray granite. So I'm like, I'm going to use gray granite. I really like it with this blue. So this is going to come up here, and we're going to put that on with some Stampin' Dimensionals. If I can find some. There we go. There was my bad stamped image. Now, if you wanted to, you could go over this with your Wink of Stella. You can also use your Wink of Stella as your brush that brushes on the white ink. Then you would add the glimmer to it right away. I've seen people use that as well, and that looks really sharp too. So if you use your Wink of Stella and you pick up the white with that, and then you color in with your Wink of Stella brush, it's going to add some of that glitter on. Oh, here comes my baby. Can you hear Lila? I think she just came here. There she is. You can't see her. She's in here by me. All right, I'm going to go ahead and throw, since there's white in the background and it was whitewashed, I'm going to put some white ribbon through here. And then we have to add a little bit of glitz. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to take some of the why can't I think of it now? Starry Sky ribbon here, this glimmer ribbon. And we're just going to tie that in a bow at the base of our little tag. I know that some of this stuff is really putsy, but some of this putsy stuff is the stuff that really just kind of like wows the card. So I like to do it when I have the time to do it. Sometimes I like to just make a quick and easy card and be done with it. But sometimes I like to just sit and putz and see, okay, how can we make this just kind of be a wow card? So we can make it you can make it just real super simple if you want. By just putting like the white ribbon or just putting the blue ribbon through it and not tying it in a bow. It really does go in a bow. I did it last night. This is the second bow that I'm doing on live air. Okay, let's see here. Come on. There we go. Part of the problem is my white is just a little bit too big. Maybe if I trimmed that already. There we go. And I had been growing my nails out with all the healthier food that I've been eating. My nails have been growing like crazy. And then I cleaned my basement on Friday. And oh my gosh, I think I like broke every single nail. They're not so nice anymore. They'll grow back. All right, I'm just going to cut these on a slant a little bit. There we go, and we'll trim up this ribbon. I know my hands are in the way here, so you can't really see what this is looking like. But, whoops, you know what? I don't want this here. I want this to be up a little bit so that I think I can get it off of here yet. Way to ruin the card, Sarah. The other thing you can do is you can stick your scissors underneath there and cut your dimensionals off if I have to, but I think I can get them up. There we go. Just want this to be up a little bit. There we go. Because I want that to come on that other ribbon. Let's see, glue dots, where did you go? Here they are. My space has gotten a little bit messy. And I've even moved things out as I've got them finished. All right, we're going to pop this on a dimensional on the bottom. And then this little tag here is going to go on there, like that. It's going to be fab. I think I'm going to have to put one more dimensional. I think I pulled my dimensional up over here. Whoops. Should have taken the back off before I put it down there. There we go. Goodness gracious. There we go. It's going to be fab. Best wishes. And now we've got these, because this is in some white, these wonderful like dazzle, I don't even know what they're called, but they like just sparkle, these pearls. We're going to go ahead and throw some of those up here just to add a little bit of bling with it. And there we've got ribbon that's got sparkle. Look at that. We've got 3 different ribbons on this card. Through 1, 2, 3 different ribbons. We've got a little bling going on. We've got the special technique that we used. I don't know why that. Let me try another one. That one, it seemed like the glue dot was too big for it behind it. There we go. That's better. All right. So there is that card. Best wishes. And I did have an envelope here. I think I'm just going to take the ribbon is not even on it. There we go. I think I'm just going to take that floral image, if I can find where I put it. Set it on my counter already to put away. And we're just going to stamp one of those in the corner. Because that floral image is so gorgeous. Might as well use it again. And there we go. There's our envelope that matches our card. And it's all set to go. All right, ladies, I've got 20 to 8. Thank you for those of you that said you like it. The putzing was worth it. Thanks, Diane. Yeah, I think that that looks cute like that. I really like how that turned out. And the card that Carissa did the same thing. So she had this thicker ribbon. She had the little pink one, and then she tied it with a little bit of the baker's twine. And so she kind of did the exact same thing with hers. So she just colored hers in with color. I colored all of mine in with the whitewash. So basically kind of the same card, just a little bit different. Looks completely different. All right, do you want to stay on and see one more card? Do you want me to save that card for next week? How are you feeling? Have you seen enough? The card that I have left is a Christmas card, so I can either save it for next week or I can do it yet tonight. I have no place to go, so I'm happy to do it if you would like me to. Otherwise, I have a couple people saying that you're good just the way it is. Save it for next week. Anyone else? One more would be great. Do it now. Okay. All right. We'll do it. If you have had enough, you can go ahead and sign off and then just fast forward through to the end and catch it later. We're going to do a Dutch door. Everything's on the ground right now. And I do have some of this stuff done through the magic of TV, so we don't have to sit and watch me do that. Okay, another card, please. All right. I will listen to what you ask. All right. We are going to be using for this card the Leaves of Holly. And I did this card. The reason I was able to get it done so fast is this is actually one of my swap cards. And so I just quickly cut another one to be able to do it with you. And I had all the dimensions written down from when I had created it. So it was actually pretty easy for me to pull it together in that hour that I had. All right. So we are going to be doing what's called a Dutch door. And we did this a long time ago. There's a couple of different types. There's like a double Dutch door and there's all different kinds of Dutch doors. So a Dutch door is kind of like what they used when they had, I had looked this up when I did it the very first time. So it is one of those doors where like the bottom stays closed and you can open up the top. And it used to be for when you had animals and stuff like that so that their heads could like kind of come into the door, but they stayed actually out of the house. And so that is what it was used for. So we are actually using Mossy Meadow, and it seems like there's a lot of stuff written here, but I will, like I said, I'll have this all posted in a document that you can save or download or whatever you want to do. This measures 8.5 by 5.5, and I scored it at 4 1/4. And I'm going to go ahead and fold it on that. But now I'm going to go ahead and bring my trimmer in because we need to cut some of this off. So I need to cut down 3 inches from here. So 3 inches down, and I have to cut all the way to that score line. So I'm going to match this up at 3, have my cutting blade up there. And there is like a little arrow on either side of the cutting blade where you can see when you get to that score line. And then I'm going to line this up at 5.5 so that where the score line is in that channel. And I'm going to cut down to the 3 inches where I had cut that, and we're taking this part of it out. Okay, but we're going to use that part. Okay, so I'm just going to like to just kind of straighten that out. So this is our little Dutch door here that opens up. Okay, on this piece, so I cut on the score line down 3 inches and cut that part off. And then I'm going to use this for one of our layers. So from this cutoff piece, we want this to be 3 inches, which it is, by only 4 1/8. So we have to cut this so that it's 4 1/8 rather than 4 1/4. Okay, so that's going to be one of our pieces. This is actually going to be our inside piece. Okay, that's all I need my trimmer for because everything else I have cut for you. Okay, so we've got our card now. This is going to be going on the inside. I have another piece that's just a little bit bigger than that piece that I cut. It's 4 1/4 by 3 1/4. So you can see it's a little bit bigger. And the reason it's a little bit bigger is because it'll make it easier for lining it up so that I can actually hide this on the inside. And then we have Very Vanilla. So I have one on that's going to go on the inside that measures 4 by 5 1/4. I have a piece that's going to be this lower section right here, and that measures 4 by 2 1/4. And then I have for the outside piece, these are all just 1/8 of an inch smaller than what I cut before. Okay, so this one is 4 1/8 by 3 1/8. And then I have a piece that's 4 inches by 2 7/8 that's going to go for the piece that's going to go on the inside. Have DSP that measures 3 7/8 by 5 1/8. That's going to be for the inside. And then this is the back side. I thought this was just a little bit too much. That looked a little bit better. So this measures 3 7/8 by 2 1/8. I have some scraps of Very Vanilla that we're going to do our stamping. And then I have a piece that we will do our envelope. All right. I also have a scrap of the Mossy Meadow that you can see I cut out 2 of the greens. So here are the Holly Berry dies that go with that stamp set. So I cut out one of these and I cut out one of these. We're going to be using these 2 dies right here, and we're going to be using this for the little holly berries in order to cut those out after we stamp them. So with this one, instead of using these detailed dies, I ended up stamping and cutting out. All right, so we have our stamps and our stamp pads. Let me set this aside. I do need to stamp on this, and I need to stamp on this. And we'll set these aside to put together later. And this is our scrap. So on our scrap, we have 2 different sized leaves, and the leaves go in a little bit different directions. So there's a smaller one, and we're going to only stamp one of these. Okay, and then we've got our one that's just a little bit bigger. These stamps do so much of the work. This is such a beautiful set. So we're going to stamp 1 and 2. Okay. I have the holly berries that we are going to stamp as well on our scrap. My scrap is bigger than I really needed. Then on the bigger one for the outside, which is this one, in the bottom right corner, I'm going to put Season's Greetings. All right, so that's going to go there. On the inside, I'm going to do, there were a couple of words in an ampersand, so I'm going to do joy. I'm going to do joy in green. I'm going to do the ampersand in red. And then I'm going to do the peace in green for the inside. There's also Christmas greetings, I think it says, or something like that. The other card that I made in the swap, I used that greeting and I used one of the other things for the inside. So that's why when I made this one, I made it with this greeting instead. All right, we are done stamping. We have dies that will cut this out, and through the magic of TV, we've got 1, 2, 3, and we have 1, 2, can't get it up. Here, let's see. There we go. Couldn't pick it up. And then we should have our holly berries too. Let's see where they went. I may have to cut that out real quick. I don't see where they disappeared to. I did have them. Let me just cut this one out real quick. That's not too bad to cut out. I just have to find where I threw my dies. Oh, here they are. Sorry, ladies, I did have this all done. I did it all in that hour that I had to waste. All right, I have another cut and emboss machine over here, so I'm going ahead and cutting that out. I'll find it when I go to clean up afterwards. All right, so we have that as well. All right, so we are ready actually to put this card together already. It goes together super, super fast. So it's a lot of layering. I love to layer. All right, so this right here is going to be layered together. I probably should have started at 5:30, huh? If I'm going this long. All right, and then that is going to go on the inside of our card base, our Dutch doors, just like that. All right, and then these two pieces are going to be layered together and go on there. Doesn't that look cool? I have to say, the designer series paper did all of it, not me. I might have come up with the idea to put them together, but holy cow, this designer series paper is just gorgeous. It's hard to tell which side you should use because every side is really, really pretty. So, and I've seen so many beautiful, beautiful cards. It also looks really, really nice with the distressed gold and this label right in here that has like the holly leaves on there, and then you can cut these out to go underneath it to change the color from the label. It's just absolutely just awesome. Okay, this is our little one, so that's going to get layered on there. And that's going to be our inside greeting, joy and peace. I just want to kind of center that. And I did make it a little bit smaller than the outside one so that it'll be easy to match up my outside one. When I go to put this down, I'll easily be able to cover that up. That's why I did it just a little bit smaller. I know it would be easier to have them the same size because especially if you're a demonstrator and you wanted to use this for a class. I know for me, it's like, make sure you stamp on the right, on the right piece of white paper. And then someone will say, I stamped on the wrong piece of paper. um, that happens all the time. All right, this is going to go on here. And I, again, just want to glue on the bottom portion. Of that. And you might be saying, well, that's really boring. We're going to add those holly leaves and those berries and stuff yet. We're going to get that on there. All right, so that's going to go like that. Make sure I didn't go too high with the glue. All right, and then we're going to dry fit this. So I'm going to have, I should have put adhesive strips. I did that when I made my my swaps because I had to make so many of them that I'm like, we're not going to be gluing all of these. So I'm going to dry fit this. This one's going to go here. That one's going to go there. And then we're going to have this one in the middle. So I think this one I put down with regular glue, and these two I put up on dimensionals. And then that little green just kind of goes in between there. Actually, you know what? I think I put them all up on dimensionals. I did. And then our little holly berries will cover where they all come together down there like that. Woohoo! It's going to look pretty. All right, so let's go ahead and add some glue. See how fast this card went together? Now, granted, I had the cutting done ahead of time, but it really wasn't too bad. Now, if you didn't use the adhesive strips, you could also use one of the silicone mats, and you could put some glue on there and just kind of tap a little bit of glue with a sponge or a sponge dauber on the back of that. I have a hair that's sitting up there. Okay, that should be good like that. Let's throw a few dimensionals on the back. So I know that they all towards the bottom will be on the white. Some of them will go off of the layer a little bit, so I don't want to go all the way up to the top, and I can always add some underneath it if I have to. All right, let's put this one in first, the middle one. Okay, and I do want it to go off a little bit. That should be good like that. Then this one is going to go off to the right, like that, but I have to keep it on the card. Otherwise, it's going to cause problems when I go to close it. So see how that tip has to stay so it's on the card. And this one, small one's going to go off to the left. Whoops. Like so. And then the berries, I'm going to put my dimensionals along the bottom because the top is going to be over the top of those stems. And you could, if you wanted to, cut off some of the stems if they're in the way. So I think I'm actually going to do that. I made this card such a long time ago. I cut those off. See how I just did that real quick so that my dimensional lays flat there. There are my holly berries and holly leaves, and it opens up and says, joy and peace. I am going to take a wink of Stella, and I'm going to, oh shoot, I have white on that from when I did that the other day. That's right, we'll cover it up. If you use it for whitewashing, you want to make sure you clean it off before you go use it on something else. All right, I do have a sand eraser here. I should be able to pick that up. If not, I have some gems that we're going to be adding. There we go. It's gone. Love my sand erasers. All right. Then last week we used the gold ones on the Christmas card that I did. Today we're going to use these red ones that are on the top here. And I don't know, I didn't put my Take Your Pick tool back. Here it is in the spot where it belongs. So we'll take a couple of these and we'll add them to some of the areas where we've got some white space. Like so. And there is our card. Got a little bit of my sand eraser showing there yet. Okay, and I did have an envelope and I did have some DSP. Here it is. Probably with my holly berries somewhere that I couldn't find. I'll probably find them on the floor afterwards. They probably fell out when I was moving everything from the floor up to my desk because I didn't have enough room on my desk for all 3 cards. So I had to put one of them on the floor right next to me. When I reached over to pick that up, I'm thinking I might have fallen out of the plastic that I had it in. All right, we'll trim around here. There we go. So we've got ourselves a matching envelope. So there's the last card that we did. Boy, we did that fast. Here is I think this is the one I made. I can't even tell anymore which one I made and which one was the one that I had made ahead of time. And here's that one that we made. So we have our 3 cards: whitewashing technique, Halloween, and a little bit of Christmas. All right. I don't have any light on in here, and it's gotten so dark that I don't know if you're even going to be able to see me when I come back on here. Oh, yeah. I've got these bright lights on there. There we go. That's a little bit better. So thank you so much for joining me tonight. Thanks for staying on a little bit longer to watch that 3rd card. Now I have to come up with 2 cards for next week, but one of them is going to be waterfall. So that'll be easy. I know what fun fold I'm going to do. I just have to come up with one other card. Maybe I'll do one of my other swaps that I did to share that with you as well. So thank you so much for joining me. I hope that you have a great week. I will see you. I think I'll be on Tuesday again next week instead of Monday. If Monday works better for people, maybe I can change it to Monday. But thank you for those of you that were on at 5:30 and came back at 6:30. I hope that you just have a great week. Thanks so much. Bye-bye.